welcome to Friday Night Hobby Hangout with Phil and...
Hi.
And... Oh, come on, Mike, get over here. Oh, no, I've given it away. Mike's in. Right, I'm going to get myself into the bubble of power. Oh, yes, I'm feeling it now. Right, hello, everyone. Welcome to Hobby Hangout. Again, due to my bandwidth issues, we are going to do our best from one location. So Mike and Steve were kind enough to pop round and join me for some Hobby Hangout today, which is cool. To be honest, the Hobby Hangout's been running strong right from as soon as I finished work, really. We were down the studio, Mike.
Yeah.
Getting cameras and everything set up for tomorrow's back report, finalising lists.
It's going to be an exciting one, I think.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. We had a game last night as well, which kind of went on...
Oh, it's brilliant last night.
I was late, but we went on a bit late, and it was fun. And we'll talk a little bit about that. We didn't actually do that one for the cameras, because we were trying quite a few units out. Anyway, let's do a quick catch-up on the chat. And just quickly, I'm assuming, seeing as though everybody's saying hello and stuff, and nobody's saying we can't hear you, Phil, then everybody can hear us. So that's got to be good news. Somebody might tell us whether they can hear us. Right. Okay, so joining us tonight is Wargamer Online. Yes. Fish Kicker is somewhere out there. Kablams. Hi, Kablams. How you doing? Stu Rat. Hey, Stu Rat. Who else have we got here? They were the early joiners, by the way. So, again, thank you for helping me test the chat, because you know how scared I get at technology. If you people knew what I did for a living, that statement is insanity. Oric Lovegod, hey Oric, how are you doing? Andrew Facey, hi, how you doing? Apparently member of the CIA, that's cool. Very, very cool. Don't mind the CIA tuning in. Homish, hey, how you doing, Homish? Good to see you again. Who else we got? Sean Jewett, thank you. Active member of the community site, thank you very much, Sean. And 676 Mitch, baby, bit of Britney Spears in there. We don't mind that. Vaughn Killian, awesome surname. Woot, I caught a live one. Howdy from Idaho. Hey, Idaho, how you doing over there? Oric Lovegod, of course, and Akaria. No, let's not get into Donald Trump Copetti quotes. I don't even know how to pronounce that. Surreal, who's the host today? It's me. I think we answered that in the chat. Hey, Surreal, how you doing? Dance Macabre, how you doing? Crikey, Coyote, Roa, where have we got? Johnsonator, 12 Neef, Ashley Perkins, all saying yo. I've scrolled too fast now. So where was I? The Gaffer, 87, Big Mech, Excessive Magnetization. Wow, big crowd. So, and I'll catch up with a few more of you soon. Adrian Trollis and Emmett Walker with a question, actually. So why not jump straight into a question? Hi, lads. Happy to get on while Mammy puts the baby to sleep. Got a Militarum Tempest box set to put together tonight. Cool. They're amazing models and they're beautiful. And we're going to actually try and do a bit of hobby. Whether this works, let's just see if we can switch this over now. So this is what we're going to be putting together tonight. And when I say we
mean Mike.
That's the royal we.
It's going to be quite a slow build, I think.
It's going to be amazing if the box even gets open, to be honest.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I have a tendency on the Hobby Hangouts that we start doing hobby, but then talking, it tends to take centre stage over actually doing anything.
Well, I've just spotted a question. Adrian, when are your 8th Batreps out?
The first one will be out Sunday, and there's a little caveat on that. It will be late Sunday. We're aiming to get it for 8 o'clock in the evening. That's when we're trying to get the release done. But it might be an hour or two behind that. But that's partly because we're trying a few new things out for 8th edition, and that's why me and Mike were at the studio today. Pretty exciting. There was a lot of gaffer tape. There was a lot of messing around. No fish kicking at all. I'm pretty fish friendly,
tower
to be
not
honest,
involved.
so no tower involved. So we're trying some new things out, and that is going to change the way we do edits slightly. So that's why I'm asking if I can have a couple of hours more. So if people are okay with that, that's cool. It will be Tyranids versus Eldar. We've narrowed the list down a bit from last night's game because It's one of those things. It turned out quite big, actually. So we started off at how many PowerPoints in that game?
76, I think it was.
76, which up until now, in some of the test games we've done, has been a fairly reasonable size when you've got hard-hitting units with high point values. But when I came along with a Tyrannid, it was just crazy. The Tyrannid list, there was just models everywhere. So, right, let's just do a quick catch-up on chat again. Anyway, Kablams is blushing. Bless you, Kablams. All right, love God, of course. Better people here after they heard about the fish kicker, Sam. That's understandable. In fairness, I think kick is probably an exaggeration. It may have been nothing more than a slight nudge with his dough. Hobby, how long till Vallejo? Airbrush vid. Let me think realistically. Okay, I am out the country for 2 days next week. There is a chance I can get it done for Sunday. There's a chance I can get it done for Sunday. It depends what we're doing, balancing back reports. But I will do my best to get it done for, not this coming Sunday, but the Sunday after. I think I need to do it soon because Sam's got his video out. And it won't take me too long to do. I've just got to set a couple of things up. So I am going to aim for Sunday. There you go. There's a commitment. It might not be Sunday's release, by the way, but it will be ready by then. And then we'll drop it into the release schedule. Well volunteered, Mike. Not a lot happening, is it, on that box? I can't see it moving at all.
So I'll get it open. I'll get it open at least.
Oh, nice! I've not opened my box yet. Well, there you go. You get to see it being open. So this is a. Can we get away with calling this Hobby Hangout unboxing and build along with Mike video? I should have called it all of those things.
Just to put it out there, I'm a slow builder, so there's not going to be much that gets done.
It's a great question here from the gaffer. If your beard takes up 25% of the power bubble, do you get cover from it? Actually, it's an invuln save. That does work against mortal wounds as well. And there's a true story in that as well. I was trying to dig some plaster out of a wall with a palette knife, and the knife snapped and the metal hit my face, and all it did was glance off my beard. I walked away unscathed. It was amazing. So I'm calling that an invuln save. Love the terrain. Love that terrain. Yes, it's all beautiful stuff. I'm very excited about it. I intend to buy about 20 boxes of those cranes and little vehicles, especially for the Gene Stealer cult. Help me out, Zone Mortalis. So I just think loads of those little trucky things hanging around.
Sorry, I zoned out. This is what happens when I do hobby.
No, you get hobby, and that's cool. We'll chat as we'll steady things off a bit. I'm just doing the rush of the catch up.
Do like the
Go Power Rangers. I hope Tyrion is like their meals soft and squishy then.
It was a very...
Bonsoir, la geeks from Red Cuffs. Hey, Red Cuffs, how you doing? Right. Oh, here we go. Sean Blake, Kablams. I think we've seen again. Simon Evening All, Captain Rourke, King's Guard. Beck's going to be picking up bits of Eldar out their teeth with their race slots. Yeah, well, maybe we should talk about the first turn. I'm going to kind of put a little highlight on the chat so I know. We'll come back from Captain Rourke onwards. We'll come back down to Mighty Powerbeard. So let's talk a little bit while you're snipping bits off that.
Just a quick one on there. Kablams, I've just noticed this, your calculations for the 75 power points should be around 1,500 points. I'm guessing you're talking in 7th standards of 1,500 points, but from what we saw,
no,
I'd say
saying in match play. So
in match play, but it did look, from what I could see on the board, it did look like 1,500.
It's one of those things. You can get quite a big variation between, obviously, the power points and match play game points. Simply based on whether you load your units up to the teeth, and there's a lot of variation. So, for instance, you can buy a hell of a lot of Hormagaunts for 3 points for every 10. I think it's 3 points every 10, something like that. You can buy hundreds of them, but then not Hormagaunts, rather the Termagaunts, and then you can give those Termagaunts Devourers, which takes them from Assault 1 to Assault 3. Oh, okay. No extra points whatsoever in terms of power points. But then when you look at the unit list, match play.
I see.
So, to be honest, it's difficult to make the comparison, but you're probably right. 75 points on average, around 1,500, but yeah, it's a tricky one. What we've done for tomorrow's game, just to help it flow quicker, is we've gone down to about 55 points, I think.
It's around
55, 56 points. And, that's just to keep it flowing and to keep the first battle report We want to try and get.
Because there was a lot of Tyranids. There was a lot of Tyranids for 76 power points.
Yes, it was a lot. And yeah, let's talk a little bit about that, because that was quite good fun, wasn't it? Because we lined up the Tyranids against the Eldar, and I was supremely confident with my Tyranids, I have to say, Mike.
Yeah, you did outnumber me quite a bit, I think it was. You had a lot more. I think you must have had a lot more units than I did altogether.
Yeah. And what was interesting is Luke, who was on the chat on Wednesday, was talking about 8th edition will be about model count. He was saying you can win these games just by sheer model count and swamping the objectives, but I had model count, and what was interesting when Mike started to open up with some of the Eldar weaponry, my model count really started to go down quite fast. So it was interesting. It was in the balance, and it swung from one to the other. Definitely in my excitement to get first turn charges in, which I did.
Yeah,
easily.
that was impressive to watch.
Well, that was the thing, is I had the choice as to who was going to go first, I think, didn't I? And your face was a picture when I was like, you go first. He was like, yeah, okay. No, you go first, because you were a bit shocked with that. Because you expected you'd definitely have that first turn charge. And I think you found with one, I don't know if it was one of your special abilities, you were able to get, I think it was one unit into combat on that first turn. So it's definitely doable, but across the entire army, I don't know if it's possible to do it.
It was your psychic power, wasn't it, that made them...
It's combination. There was a psychic power, so there's catalyst, which enabled me to drive forward. And the units themselves can advance, on top of already an 8-inch move. And the fact I rolled 6s for my advances just made me just leap across the board like crazy. So it was good news. You don't automatically roll 6s, by the way. I genuinely rolled 6s, so it was I was across the board. Of course, what I discovered was I'd over accelerated my synapse range. And then I started to really take some damage. So
you left the gaunts pretty much
they were exposed. So. They were exposed. They did cause a whole bunch of damage. That was the interesting, and they held you up, and they stopped a whole bunch of units firing. So it was not without its return on investment, for want of a better word. But yeah, it was. I've learned from that. I don't think I would accelerate so quickly unless I intentionally wanted to stop a hard-hitting shooting unit, and it would be a sacrificial move, in which case you've got a balance between how many do you throw in to survive.
Well, the one thing we did find, take the Avatar for example, yes, it could dish out tons of damage, so normally you want 7th, might get rid of the entire unit, you might as well say, but now because you're only, for each attack it's going on to one model, so it doesn't matter if it's D6 damage. You're still only taking out the one model now. Yeah. Then bigger units can hold it than hard hitting units.
You did find that quite frustrating, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, I got excited with how I rolled.
You did roll really. It was quite funny to watch. You would have quite necessarily wiped out that gaunt unit in one round of combat, but it wasn't until we reread the rules and for clarification and realised he only killed 4 gaunts. It was very frustrating
because it's only mortal from what we've read of it. It's
only mortal wounds that carry through.
It makes sense. I was saying, just because you're hitting really hard doesn't necessarily you hit me more than one thing.
Yeah,
so it kind of makes sense. And again, we're all learning what units to deploy against what units, and of course the Avatar against a whole bunch of gaunts, not so great.
No.
The Avatar against a bunch of warriors who are all multi-wound, 3 wounds each. Yeah, or an individual sort of monstrous dude, then yes, there's going to be a lot of damage. Right, let's catch up on a bit of chat. So, Dance, the power of the mighty beard. Thank you. I can never ever shave this beard off now, can I? It's become part of the channel, really. G is better than the GW store. Way more tables. 260 miles barely gets you out of the state. Yeah, I feel for our US friends, because there are some big distances between everywhere, aren't they? So. But great country. I was over there last summer and lucky enough to land into Chicago O'Hare and then drive all the way up the side of Lake Michigan I was on a client meeting. It's just amazing. What's amazing is just the streets through your towns are larger than the biggest motorway, our equivalent of your freeway. It's ridiculous, but it was great fun. And I really enjoyed my time there. but it is unfortunate your hobby stores are so far apart. Right, broke the blade on the beard. Yes, Sam, I did indeed break the blade on my beard. How does Tyranids and Eldar match up? Now, is it a fair fight? It's a hell of a lot more fairer, definitely.
I thought it was quite balanced.
Yeah.
From what I could see, there was, I mean, you were up in his face, but once Mike started opening up, it was, I wish I could have stayed to watch the end of the fight that you guys had, because it was still anyone's game at that point. I would have been quite interested to see when more of the Tyranids got up into...
I'm particularly interested, Mike. What did you think in terms of things like Fire Prism and stuff like that when you started to open up with those? Because you had both a Wave Serpent and a Fire Prism on the table, didn't you?
Well, the Wave Serpent survivability on the vehicles, it's amazing now, because you're getting a save every time. You're getting a save, which is a big difference, and your wound count. And I think for like the Wave Serpent and the Fire Prism, it might be about 9 wounds. I think they've got.
Yeah.
Which,
I think
even if you've got lots of guns, that high-powered guns to shoot at them, with you having the saves and stuff, it's not just as simple as they're going to disappear. I think it's going to be rare occasions where you'll see them big vehicles will just be gone in one turn. And that's the standard vehicles. If you go up to like a knight size, if you're looking at like a knight, it's going to take a lot to get them off the board.
When you said like 9 wounds, I was thinking it was definitely more than that, because I remember feeling quite disappointed.
No, it was more than 9, wasn't it?
Yeah,
you got
the Wave
down
Serpents,
to 9.
What's this?
Wave Serpent's 13.
Yeah, 12.
Okay, yeah,
Fire
tell me.
Prism.
Fire Prism's 12. So, yeah.
And that
Yes. Is it a fair fight? Yes, I felt so. I didn't feel like, I don't stick a chance. I actually felt for the first time against a shooty army with almost no shooting on the Tyranids. And I think in the match we're doing for tomorrow, I'm taking even less shooting. I've decided I don't even want to hang around and shoot.
I think I'm going to have more or less just as much. I think there's a touch less. But going back to the vehicles, like the interesting thing I found with the Wave Serpent was the way that transport works now, that you can't move and then get out. It's got to be you disembark and then the vehicle can move.
True.
Which it means
You're a little bit disappointed.
You've got to think. You got to think a bit more. Yeah, for what I had planned. Yeah, you've got to think a little bit more now about what you're planning to do with that unit and disembarking those. You need to think ahead. But then the other interesting one was the Fire Prism. That's well worth taking for survivability for one, and then just because it has the 3 different types of shots that you can do from the actual prism cannon.
Yeah, it was horrible.
But the other thing we found is that certain units do need to be targeting in particular units. So there isn't much point in sending something that does a lot of damage against a big unit.
You know what I liked?
Wasted.
There was one bit, and this is really cool as well, because I noticed Mike was forgetting something, and I did that horrible player bit that Sam would. Normally it's Sam's role in Wargamer Online. I didn't say anything, and what I noticed was I got a bunch of dudes getting closer and closer to your vehicles, and you're popping off the main weapon at targets 36 inches away. And
there was a reason for that.
Yeah, but you're forgetting that the little shuriken catapults, the twin link shuriken catapults, and the shuriken cannons strapped underneath them, could have been taking out those closer targets as well. And I was sort of sat there thinking, he doesn't want to fire all these weapons. That's Mike's choice. Right, power to the mighty beard. Oh wait, no, we've already read that one. I just like it. 3 up beard save, nice. Evening all from Judge Gudge. Hey, how you doing, Sean? Anyone 420 friendly here?
Yeah, let's skip on that one.
Oh, okay, let's do that one then. That's obviously something. Yo, Mighty Moggy. Hey Moggy, how you doing? Moggy. 50 PP is only about 700 points. We've talked a little bit about that. Yeah. I have a mix up of big upgrades and vanilla units. It was. You alright there, Mike?
Yeah,
you know they're my favourite models, yeah?
Yeah, it's not broken.
Okay. I've got a feeling actually somebody asked, and it may be above the chat where I moved on, they asked what we were building tonight. So Mike, can you flash the box lid again if that's alright with you? So we are building the galvanic the galvanic servo haulers is tonight's build on the Hobby Hangout. What have we got? I've got a mix of big upgrades. I think that's right. Just because you can take all the upgrades doesn't mean you have to take all the upgrades when you're doing the PowerPoint. And in fact, it's a bit douchey to do so, isn't it? But I have to say, with the Eldar vehicles, I'd definitely stick the Shuriken Cannon underneath. You just might as well. It gives them a bit more of a punch, doesn't it? Over a little bit more of distance. Right, okay, alright, Love God, you can win with a simple model count, but not against an experienced player. Exactly, that's the whole point. I think I've definitely seen a lot of new players when they first start. They tend to assume it's the list or the army or the faction that's failing them, when I'd say probably 90% of the time it's just simple experience. You just need to play your army more. I mean, the idea of playing an army less than, say, 20, 25 times before you consider yourself like, this army's no good and I'm going to try something else. In my book, I really think you need to invest into each army before you've got your head around where they are. And that's the scary thing about 8th edition, because what used to perform a function in 7th definitely performs a different function now. Yeah, for me, Hormagaunts, just not as hard hitting as they were. The fact there's no adrenal gland, the fact there's no poison, not that heavy. I didn't really use poison, to be honest, because it's not how I employed them, but adrenal glands was always something nice. But the fact you don't see that, they've got a generic power. I think it's re-rolls of ones with the Scything Talons or something like that, but they definitely play a different role. They're at best, I think, shot stoppers. You get them over the board, you attack things with heavy duty long range, mid to long range shooting, and you bog them down for 1 or 2 turns at best, while you move the heavier stuff up to support
or using them to quickly get to an objective.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, the good point actually, Mike, because we were playing a game where you only accrued points at the end of the game.
Yeah.
So it wasn't so important that I needed to occupy.
It's definitely going to take some time to get your head around. Like, even if you've been playing with an army for so long, just because of the changes, trying to figure out all the new rules and remembering them, it definitely puts some time on playing it. So your first few games of 40k, they're not going to be, unless you're doing really small points counts.
Yeah,
they're not going to be fast games. I don't think. That
was one thing. There was a lot of page flicking, just because obviously both you guys didn't know the armies. And the rules were still pretty vague as well, so there's a lot of page flicking and double checking, but obviously the more games you play, the less that will happen. Yeah,
I mean, maybe that's a bit of advice for people when they pick up 8th edition if they've not already given it a shot based on the leagues. But Steve basically acted for us as a bit of a games master, because we were going up quite a lot on points and we had a lot of units. So you kind of popped in, didn't you? And you were just helping us with rule queries. So rather than us having to stop the game, we were kind of playing and going, Steve, can you just check this? Can you check that?
Yeah, and
it's useful to have that. That helped with pace.
And I think one of the main things was looking for that flying hard to hit rule, because we had some units are counted as had the special rule of fly. But just because they have a special rule of fly does not mean they have hard to hit. The hard to hit rule was a separate thing altogether. So, I mean, it was interesting finding that out. But yeah, I do think when you guys play test this, if you've got someone who doesn't mind being like an independent adjudicator, so to speak, just to help keep the flow of the game going, because with these guys, I basically got them to carry on with what they're doing whilst I was looking at the rule, and then it was something we could always go back to and rectify if we needed to.
A lot of the time you would get tripped over with thinking, like, because you're so used to playing 7th, there's some stuff now that was in 7th that isn't there now, which is where things can get confusing and stuff, like the disembarking from the transport and stuff. Because I found that so weird.
Right, I'm having a chat panic. I thought the chat wasn't moving, and of course it's my rubbish internet. It hadn't refreshed, so I touched the window, and suddenly there's like a million chat lines. It looks like Sam's doing his job over in sunny Spain, keeping people chatting. So thank you, Sam. I didn't know all of this was going off. So what have we got? Diddly 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 dee. Quick scroll down. What do we use crutches to get us through building, aka music, videos, beverages? Well, I like to tune into Wargamer Online. They have a wonderful selection of videos and tutorials. You know, from painting blue hair to building servo haulers. So that's a great channel if you haven't checked that out. And there's also a website you can check out. 2 seconds there. There you go, this fantastic website, which is on www.wargameronline. And as you can see, it's wonderfully organised. You can just select all of our 40k content, or Zone Mortalis, or Age of Sigmar, Battle Reports. Right, advert over. Back to the cab. So, yes, audiobooks are a big one for me as well, particularly Horus Heresy series. What about you guys?
Yeah, it's Batreps and audiobooks for me, pretty much. I like listening to games going on or listening to audiobooks.
Mike?
I can't do audiobooks whilst doing hobby because I can't concentrate on what's being said. So I'm sat there for a couple of hours listening to it. I finish doing what I'm doing, and it's like, I have no idea what was said at all.
I've noticed you do kind of get in the zone, don't you?
I know what Mike does. I know what Mike does. Mike does a giggle hangout call to myself and Sam, and then starts a fight between us.
And then goes quiet.
Just gets on with like 3 hours of hobby, and every now and then you hear a snigger. Okay, right. What have we got? Oh no! Somebody actually says we watched ourselves while we work Inception style. So there you are. You were ahead of me with a joke. Sean, like music or movie I've seen a million times. Movies that you've seen a million times is a good idea, isn't it? Because you really don't even need to look up. Aliens is one of my favourite for that one. Although I did go through a series of David Lynch's Dune, and when we were doing the Route 666 stuff, it was Mad Max, the latest Mad Max. I can't remember the name of it.
Fury Road?
Yeah, Shiny Road. That was on about 20 times in a row. Joshua Hatch, late to the party, what's been built? Oh, we've covered that, I think, and that was probably the question I saw. Kingdom of Heaven on repeat. Good movie. Hey, Neil, Joshua. Rob Norton, oh hi. Hey Rob, how you doing? Sorry I'm so late, I'm catching up on chat. Makes me sad for Bretonians. I'm sorry I've missed that reference, but that's okay. So, what marine life are we kicking tonight? Turned out it was a squid. Saw Kingdom of Heaven whilst working in Jordan. Wow, what a place to be. Product placement there, Phil. Oh no, they've caught me. Need to save some money on vaccination. Pilgrimage to Warhammer World. Warhammer World is definitely a pilgrimage. It's very cool.
Just a new diorama, I think, as well.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I've got ideas for a new scenario, but a new board. But you know, I better check with the boss when he gets back from his holidays on what he wants me to do. We went to the Crusader Fort. There we go. We have Breton. Where have the Bretonians gone? Captain Rourke's very unhappy about his Bretonians.
They're still there, Captain Rourke. They're still there. The rules are there, and you can still buy them all. As far as I'm aware, some of them anyway.
Curtis saying I've got to keep my beard. Subzuka, basic miniature painting. Got to order some Space Wolf shoulder pads from Forge World. Nice idea. I wonder what you're intending on using those for. Well, I suppose Space Wolves are self-explanatory, isn't it? Raven Guard. Hey, Oric. Right, Phil, I've had a beard since I was at senior school. I've never shaved mine off. And it's a handsome beard, sir. Sometimes I tune in when I'm hobbying to just watch your beard. So, what's he working at? Yes, I'll tell you what we're working at again. Is the galvanic servo haulers. So the little roboty scenery pieces that came out. And Mike's been a little angel and making them for the Zone Mortalis board that we've done. Definitely going to be awesome with the ability to split shot from weapons at separate units. Absolutely, Sam, that is true. Does that mean you want your Death Watch back? Because they're still in a box. Because every time you give me something and say you no longer want to do it, I simply put it in a box and wait for you to want to do it again.
Sam re-rolling armies again.
No, we're just adding to the fun, I think. I can't do any building without... moving on. I think the models are new mechanic style crane kit. Yes, they are. Hey, Sean. Necrons have invaded the chat. Nice one. Necrons are going to be so much fun. You know what? I'm half tempted to do Necrons. Just because I know Sam will never do Red Necrons because he had a big fallout with Silver, didn't he? when he decided to do Necrons and then decided he didn't like metallic armies. I was like, after investing a huge amount in Necrons. Sean, what's next? I think that's AOS battle report coming out from us guys. What's the next Age of Sigmar battle report coming out?
Sam's answered that. It's got ASAP Sean potentially filmed and edited for next Sunday.
Next Sunday, yes, probably. Yeah. Well, there you go. It's been answered. Sam's obviously feeling supremely confident after his holiday of rest and recuperation. Very busy trying to get ape content film, new tutorials for premium film, the other bits. Oh, I'm reading out Sam's. I
was going to say something.
Mike's getting sticky. Yes, he is. Oh, Butterfingers. I think we've just caught up with a bit where you threw the model across the table.
I think we're quite far behind on the comments.
No, let's just try and catch up. Did Mike's beard protect him? Of course, Mike's beard protected him. That's more like a 5-up in Vun Save with your beard. And Steve, I'm going to give you a 4-up, but obviously I'm a 2-up rerollable.
Do I need to grow mine now longer just to get a better save?
Mike, you're so cool. You can do whatever you want. Just be aware that if you do grow your beard longer, then all the kids are going to start growing their beards longer. It's a big, it's a big responsibility being Mike in the UK because people watch very closely what he does and then mimics him. So, I'm just reading Sam out. The problem is Sam's answering everybody, so I am struggling to. Oh right, okay, I know what that is now. Right, they're completely getting rid of codices now and replacing them with... Are they getting rid of codexes and replacing them with indexes?
I think these are only temporary.
Absolutely, they are only temporary. And that's been proven out with what comes in the box set. What you get in the box set is a mini indices for the Death Guard and the Primaris. Although we know more Primaris units are coming out, they're not listed in that, so I can guarantee within 2-3 weeks of the set coming out, we will see some additional units. You'll probably see certainly some characters. You'll see those vehicles, as we know. We've seen the Dreadnought, we've seen the Hover Tank. We'll see all of those things, and at some point, and it's usually if it follows the Age of Sigmar releases, you will see a codex that follows. Death Guard will either overlap or follow shortly after. We'll see, and then they will start working their way through the armies. Right now, though, the index books are pretty much what they did with Age of Sigmar, with PDFs that they released at the time of Age of Sigmar, didn't they? Everybody downloaded their PDFs and could play straight away. Doody. Sean, may I ask what armies will be played in the AOS Batrep? Let's just check whether Sam answered it. Iron Jaws versus Skaven?
Potentially.
Who's Skaven?
I'm up.
Mike Skaven.
Mike Skaven.
I need to get my deaf involved at some point.
Yeah, true. Skaven would be good to see, definitely. So, yeah.
I definitely want to take Skaven on with a whole zombies.
I want to play my Alariel at some point. I need a game big enough to play Alariel, that's the thing.
How many you needed to go towards it? Minimum 1,500?
Yeah, it'd be a 15 because she's 666, I think.
I can do 1,500.
I may have made that number.
I could do 1,500 as well.
Yeah, I think so. So we'll see.
How many wounds she got?
Or 3,000.
How many weeks?
How many wounds has she got?
Wounds has she got? More than 4.
Or we can do 3,000.
Is it more than 12 is what I want to know?
I can't remember, possibly.
Or we could do 3,000, I could bring the gash.
No. That's way too long about report. You've been eating gash. Okay, Sean Batrep. Right, we had some alternative Sister of Battle sculpts today. Absolutely gorgeous. Minis wish GW would pull their finger out and on theirs. Yeah, I think it is a shame, isn't it, that that we've not seen more Sisters of Battle. I suppose in many respects, maybe Games Workshop think they've got it covered with the Sisters of Silence model. They're 40k legal, so I know it's not the same thing, but they're kind of thinking maybe we got that covered. I don't know. It would be nice to see it, though. I think they're a great faction. We've got a bunch of Sisters of Silence, actually, that my son Jack started to do. There's definitely the weapon, the tank with the sort of big organ on top of it. And there's a bunch of the flying ones and a couple of the heavy weapons teams or something. I'm honestly thinking about just doing them as a giveaway on the channel rather than going through the hassle of selling them, because Jack wants to just move them on. So I might do that. So if there's any sisters people on there, shout sisters, and I'll see whether it's worth doing them as a giveaway. They're not, I have to say, only one unit's painted. So really it's going to be a kind of a bit of a, just either randomly pick someone and send it out to them, to be honest. Right, where are we? Are they getting rid of some
Chat is still going over there.
Autocorrect is a killer when you talk about Warhammer. Yep, we've all had that one. I won't moan Necrons. Yeah, I love Necrons when they're done in the ceramic or bone look. I think they can look really cool.
We've just been asked what are our day jobs.
5 upon mortal into my beard.
Being awesome.
Peace out, guys. I'll catch the rest over the weekend. Oh, bye, Big Mate. That was probably like 20 minutes ago, wasn't it? Sorry. Cronus, try saying something, please. For some reason, it banhammered you. Oh, we've banhammered. No. Oh, I didn't banhammer it.
No, Sam's dealt with it by the looks of it. Something's gone awry.
Oh, okay. Well, okay, let's hope we can deal with that, because you're certainly welcome. I jumped all the way in and ordered the starter box and the indexes. Well done, Ralph. That's the only way to do it. Jump all the way in. They're actually good. They're for the price as well. They're solid big books. I think it's a good set. I really enjoyed painting it. Mike enjoyed doing the hard work of the painting. Let's just talk about the painting of those then. So the way we did it, we wanted to get them done as fast as possible. So there was a one night set in one night. That's correct, isn't it, Mike? We built.
It was on the Wednesday night last Wednesday was when the chat was going on. I think we were building.
We were, weren't we? We were building.
So,
yeah. And did we airbrush the same night? Or
yes,
did I
same
collapse?
night as well.
Okay, so we built, primed, and base coat, mid coat, highlight, all up from the airbrush. And then they were taken away by Mike at the end of that night for the detail work, and that took you a bit of time. A day per faction, I'm going to say, Mike. Is that about right? How many hours would you say?
No, it was... Do you want to know?
Yeah, well, you're probably going to...
Okay,
yeah.
so, hang on. So if I started about 10 o'clock on the Thursday morning on the Marines, then... went carrot paint all through the day until I think me and Sam were online till about 4 in the morning. So this is where I'm going with this. I'm saying because I'm quite slow at painting.
Sorry to get this. Good night, Kablam. See you later, mate.
Bye, Kablams.
So that was until about 4 o'clock in the morning. This is where I'm saying to you I'm slow. Then it did some more. It might have been most of the next day I was doing it because I got them back to you. I said they were finished Saturday night, wasn't they?
Yeah.
And it must have been about 9-10 hours altogether on the Nurgle, but the rest of the time was all on the Marines.
So I definitely looked out doing the airbrushing. Right, okay, let's catch up a little bit. I think Sam's handling a huge amount of chat, but we'll say hello anyway. My Necrons are Arman for armor, Usabi bone, Upshapti bone. And skink blue for glow effects. I bet that's
they sound nice, surreal, actually. That sounds
Could
nice.
you post some images on the community site? That would be lovely. If only ever I played Gear Teams, the whole shebang was too complicated for me. In fact, actually, surreal. If you've got a chance to post them on the community site, I'll bring them up on the chat. The Inquisition does not expect Sam. Nobody expects Sam. He's too busy fish kicking. Right, I think I've just high green. Oh. Is that Green Stuff Games? Hey, Green Stuff Games, how you doing? I don't know why I'm shouting, but Phil told me to. Did I? Okay, I don't know how I did that.
That was for the you were saying about for the sisters, weren't you?
Oh, Shout Sisters, yeah, okay,
yeah.
Okay, well there you go. You've been entered into the prize draw for the remainder of Jack's Sisters collection. Anybody else who shouts Sisters on this chat, go for it. You get entered twice. How about that? I don't know why I'm... Oh, here we go. I've gone past Spain, Ralph, and a nice break before. Oh, that's Sam talking about his holiday, fish kicking. Will anybody more than me convert the Primus into Death Guard? Ooh, yeah, that'd be interesting. Quite big.
That sounds like heresy to me.
Yeah, there's going to be so many really, really... Oh, wait, which Death Guard do you mean as opposed to the more less nurgly ones or the really nurgly ones that came out? Because, of course, those models are beautiful anyway. Right, okay, what do we got? At Wargamer Online, don't say anything to him, but Phil is so much slower than you on the chat, keeps blaming his potato of an internet connection. That's true. Sam is essentially a lot faster than me at everything. That's been confirmed by Rachel. Cool, not too many people around this time of year. Nike Blams, Auric, you meant for battle wagons. Its reaction surreal. It's been kicked a couple of 100 years back of a bit. It's like, oh, thanks, Sam. I used my airbrush for the first time to do a base coat. Ralph, good man. Still need to fiddle around with thinning. Yes, that's one of the trickiest bits. The thing that most people say when it comes to airbrushing is get it to the consistency of milk. So you want that, it does need to be quite fluid, and the best way of doing that is almost to kind of swish it from side to side in the airbrush and just see how it behaves, and if it's sort of sticking to the sides and flowing slow, you need to go a little bit more with it. It also depends. I mean, for base coats, to be honest though, if you are base coating, it can go a bit thicker, and all you do is pump the pressure up. So take it up to 25, 30 psi, even if you just need to pump out a base coat. Obviously, it's when you're doing more detailed work, it needs to be thinner, lower the pressure of the airbrush so it doesn't go everywhere. And in fact, Mike, that's what you were amazed by. You'd not really seen much airbrushing, had you?
No.
And I fired up one of the detail brushes, and I was doing hairline highlights.
Oh yeah, I was surprised what you could do with the airbrush.
Yeah. So control comes with practice.
Need to see this.
Any info on summer campaign? Is that our summer campaign or the Games Workshop summer campaign? We do intend to do a summer campaign. Any tips on lighting my new hobby room? What kind of lighting do you use? Lumens, etc. Okay, I'm going to try and bring. So apologies if it blinds you. Can you? Whoa, at the risk of breaking everything. So that's the light I use. So it's long. It's got 3. Fluorescent tubes in it. They're daylight, so in terms of the lighting, you need 6,000 to 6,500 Kelvin, and that's daylight because it's basically white light. Those things aren't the cheapest, but they certainly are amongst the best. And in fact, if you walk around any of the Games Workshop events and see the painters and all the rest, they've pretty much got those lamps over their tables. So if you check on, you can certainly get them through Amazon and the Daylight Bulb company in the UK, but I think that's an international company anyway. So anything daylighty, although we did talk about this the other day, and what's the name of the company? It begins with an M. Maplins in the UK does like a circular fluorescent tube light with a magnifying glass in the centre. And it's really, really good value for money. And it's like £25, something like that. But a great light. Okay, so there's the crazy expensive option or the cheap option. Right, okay, what have we got now? Oh, I'm so bad at this. Sam's so much better. Sisters, I'm going to have to save this chat and go back, aren't I? Why am I shouting sisters? Frost and Fish, you should not be shouting sisters because you're all about Space Wolves, so why would you want some free Sisters of Battle? UK Vallejo starter set, it's Harder Steinbeck airbrush and 40 paints for £179. That is a good price, actually. The H&S brushes are good brushes as well. I personally use Badger, which is weird for a UK person because I think Badger's much bigger in the US. But I've been using Badger for quite a few years now, so that's. I think it's like anything that once you start using one thing, you kind of get used to it, and then you just favour it. And I can pick up pretty much any of the Badger brushes, any of the new ones even, and just start airbrushing straight away, and I understand the trigger and I understand how it works, and it just feels familiar. So I think it's a bit like cameras, that there's people who use Canons and there's people who use Nikons, and it whichever you grew up with essentially, or whichever you got first, is pretty much what you find the best out of. Right, here we go. Just nurgle them up to fit in. Good point. Well, lots of green stuff and you're onto a winner. Leave the innuendos out of it. I can't remember saying.
I don't know what innuendos we said.
Did I?
I don't know if Emmett is referencing to us. I think you may be referencing something further up.
It must be. I'm innocent in such matters, unless we're talking about Sam's speed and Rachel's opinion of it.
Oh wait, no, actually, no, there was an innuendo.
When?
What's that?
When you were talking about the fact that Sam's faster than you in every way, and Rachel has told you this.
Yeah, I'm talking about hoovering. He's really fast with a hoover, and Rachel saw me hoovering, and I'm like spending ages just on like a little bit. And then Sam's like, "Wah," round the house, job done, and dusted by the time I'd finished.
Yeah, you probably should have
I should have clarified that. Sam is much faster at housework than me. I will be doing airbrush soon. That's true. Knowing GW will release Primarchs for Chaos or something that matches them. Oh, it's a good point. Well, we're definitely seeing Mortarion, aren't we?
Well, just moving on from that, I mean, Karanis says, can you guys confirm are the Death Guard models the same size as Primaris? They are.
Yeah.
They do stand shoulder to shoulder.
Annoyingly, we've left them at the studio. Otherwise, I could have put them.
Close
they're very close. I would argue they're probably a tiny bit shorter on the shoulder, but that's not to do with size. It's more to do with stance. The new Primaris Marines have got quite straight legs, which adds to their height. Whereas the Death Guard are kind of a bit more hunched and a bit more crouched, aren't they? But I think if they were to stand straight and upright, you'd probably find they're pretty much side by side. Yeah, exactly. So where was that? And can everybody stop shouting? I really want them. Okay, great stuff. Where are we now?
You down here.
There we are. I'm thinking of getting one, but I can barely keep up with the cost of new models. Never mind an airbrush. Yeah, I know. I feel like Johnny Rockstar. It's one of those things you do have to, if you're working on a budget, to be honest anyway, if you're working on any budget, you have to make a choice between paints, materials and models, isn't it? I've at times, sometimes, you look around the room and see how many unmade models there are and you go, yes, next time I'll buy an airbrush and not the new model that comes out. I have started to take a slightly more relaxed view to new releases. I mean, obviously having the channel, we're featuring a lot of new releases.
Wait till the Tyrant comes
but
out.
You do go, yes, all right. But you do go, like Magnus. And I don't mean, okay, I bought Magnus on the very first day it came out, but I'm not talking about that Magnus. I'm talking about the big flappy Magnus. And I really, really want that model. And I really, really want to do... the Marines, help me out here, what are they called? The Thousand Sons, the Rubric Marines. But I'm being patient for me. I'm being very patient. Right.
Welcome, Wolfgang. Nice for you to catch us.
There we go. Whoa. Our summer campaign. Yes. When are we doing our summer campaign? Well, we have, it's going to be a 40, originally the one designed was a 40k campaign, so this is a full set of games that are chained together, which is about a Tyranid invasion of a sector, which will cover a whole bunch of races over a bunch of boards we've been building over the last few weeks. So it will be later in the summer. As people probably know, I've talked about it, Jack's in the middle of his exams. He's into his last 2 weeks of exams. So when he comes out of it, there's two things he's going to help us with. One, he's part of his studies, he's been doing photography. So as part of that, he's been studying moving image, which means he's going to be able to help us edit. And on top of that, he's a hell of a gamer. So he's going to help us do some of the games. And he's familiar with cameras, which means while I'm at work and some of the other people are at work and Sam's busy painting, he's going to be able to shoot a few battle reports as well with other gamers. So we'll see a few new people on the channel as well. I'm not old, I'm slow, I'm experienced. He's not old and slow, I'm experienced and cautious. Thank you very much, Surreal. That's the nicest thing anybody said to me on the chat today, other than the compliments about my beard. Slow and purposeful like a devastator. Used to be my nickname when I was a teenager.
Sam is always strikes last and you're slow and purposeful.
Especially as the keyword system means that combined Imperial army is so easy compared to allied systems of the past. Yes, it is going to be a lot of fun. I'm actually quite excited because although you get benefits from creating factions in a certain structure, the one thing we discovered is there doesn't really seem to be any penalty at the moment with the indices. That's the point actually. With the indexes, there isn't any penalty to bringing allies in with a different is there? We couldn't find it.
No, the only thing it looks like that there's a negative to it is that they won't gain the benefit from other abilities and stuff for the other detachments. But else, otherwise, it looks like you could just take a detachment of Marines, detachment of Chaos Marines, and use them together, and there isn't really a negative to it.
Yeah. I wonder when the Codex has come out, whether we'll see a shift in that, like we saw with the Oryx in Age of Sigmar, and you started to see in Sylvaneth, that real benefits just for sticking to the faction keyword, not just an army structure. So we'll see. Right.
Quick question from Surreal, Mike. What's with the 39 on your hand?
Oh, I think it's inches.
Okay, we'll leave that at that.
That was...
it was a measurement.
It was a measurement in the studio. We were setting up some new equipment in the studio, and I almost always use centimetres, and the only reason I didn't for that measurement is because it was bang on 39 inches, so I shouted across the room, "Mike, don't forget 39," and he clearly had a pen on his hand. I didn't realise that's how you remembered 39, so thanks for that, Mike.
Our keen-eyed viewers picked it up on his hand.
Thank you for the likes. Oh, that's Sam asking for that as well. Thank you, Sam, for asking for the likes. Bless you all. It can be dialed down to do things a little greater brush. It's a great starter brush. Okay, so cool. That's good. The Vilbus. I mainly do car work, but they're metal minigun. My very first airbrush was a De Vilbus, and it was an Aerograph 63. So there, I've given my age away now. It wasn't 1963. I just want to be clear on that point. But the Aerograph 63 is an absolutely beautiful airbrush. In fact, I'm going to apologise for the inevitable noise that the microphone will make, but I want to show you my Aerographs De Vilbus 63. So let's just see if this is going to show on camera. I think it is. Look how beautiful the airbrush is, and I've had that since I was 8 years old. So
pretty pen.
That brush is probably older than almost all of you at the moment, but it's amazing, and it's incredibly sentimental to me. It's incredibly sentimental to me because it was brought to me by my grandfather not long before he passed away. So and he was like a miner and didn't believe in any other way of. He was actually a steel worker and a miner, and had done all sorts in the war. So when he found out I wanted to be an artist, the very very real thing I expected from him was to say that's ridiculous, and particularly when I told him I wanted to be an airbrush artist when I was a young man, and I didn't have a lot of money when I was a young pup, and I got round to my grandmother's one day, and that was waiting for me on the side. And he never said a word to me. He just went, "Duh," and pointed at it, because that's what my granddad was like. So I was, beautifully touched by that. And I will keep it forever. And it still works. It still works as well. Right, sorry, I got all a bit sentimental there talking about my first airbrush. Where are we now? Okay.
I think Ruby's Cube.
Will Blood Angels lose the Death Company with the changes in purification of the gene seed?
Well, the Death Company is still in the index, and along with Blood Angels can take Primaris units as well. But there is supposed to be a bit of fluff saying that the new Primaris have got the purified gene seed of Sanguinius. But who knows? I mean, there's still plenty of standard Marine Death Company around, and it will be interesting to see if they do because they can be transferred into the new armour, can't they?
Yeah.
So it will be interesting to see if at some point down the line Dante decides to stick them in Primaris armour.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, isn't it? And what impact that will have. I'm just looking as well. Grumbleback, hi, Grumbleback, how you doing? Looking at getting back into 40k from Rogue Trader. Do not want to invest in BA and have the model lines changed. Well, I'm assuming it changed at some point, but
I think you're pretty much safe, Grumbleback, to start collecting the Blood Angels. Like I said, they can have Primaris Marines in the army. Yeah. But if you want the Death Company, this Sanguinary Guard and all that, that's still the standard models that are currently available. I haven't seen any rumours to say that they're going to change. The only models that I do want to change is Mephiston and Dante and Tycho and Corbulo, because they've been the same since at least 2nd edition.
Big Rich just got home from work. Hey, Big Rich, how you doing? Thomas Piggott, lol. I'm not quite sure that was through, but I haven't mentioned you before, Thomas. So, hey, Thomas, how you doing? Emmett Walker. There's a few drawbacks to Aston Militarium. Sergeant Hackman and Colonel Strachan are Catchup and only give benefits to Catchup troops. Okay, but I mean, it does make sense, doesn't it, I suppose? But what is the best way to paint eyes on Space Marines? Mike, you can answer that because you're an insanely detailed painter.
Several different ways. I think the way that Sam does it is he paints it white and then uses glazes.
Yeah?
That's a quick way to do it. The way I tend to do it, you're looking at, like, if I'm really going at it, like 3-4 colours to an eye, and being there and it being quite difficult to do. But I normally, whether it's painting faces or armour, I'll normally put the colour in for the eye first and then work the base colour around the edge of it. Because I find that's easier rather than you do all the work around and then now you're going to try and put that tiny bit in. And then you just go over everything you've already done.
Cool. Maybe that's a quick tip for either you or Mike to film. You or Sam, rather, for Sam and Mike, interchangeable partners.
Mike's talking eye lenses, I think. Okay. I hope. From Sam.
Thinking about doing Nids of Catchup. My airbrush is a Harbour Freight. I don't know Harbour Freight. At Paul Edwards, I found do them first, then paint everything around them. Good point. And certainly touch up the highlights around the eyes afterwards. Right, okay then, what else have we got going off? Maybe we need to, I think there's a bunch of stuff on chat, and Sam seems to be handling chat, so let's for a minute, while Mike's paused on the build. How's it going, Mike? What's happened on my... is that it?
I think so on those. I couldn't...
What goes in the round bit at the top, Mike?
Oh, there's plenty more to be done.
I think that's a lot later on. There's more to build, but I thought I can't talk and build at the same time.
That's fair enough, Mike. I'm not disappointed at all. Let's flip over to what have we got? I'm just flipping over to, I thought we'd have a look at our own Facebook community page. We don't do this very often, so excessive magnetization, just put up on the community. Bloodletters with options, finished during today's hobby hangout. So I admire you, sir. You've done a hell of a lot more than Mike can manage during a hobby hangout. Sorry, Mike. What else have we got going off on the chat? I was wondering, we got some advertising. That's always useful. We don't get any money for that, do we? And we're talking about, Bloodlet. Well, maybe we should actually pop along to the community site and let's see if we want to talk about anything that's happened on the community site. We've talked a little bit about 40k, haven't we, already today? So let's visit this.
Yes,
Thunderhawk.
This is absolutely beautiful, and I am so saving up for one.
Oh,
you've gone straight to the Forge World
pre-order it. Put in your details, Steve, and off we go. So, right, the Thunderhawk lands. A new, fully remastered Thunderhawk touches down today. You know, the thing about the Thunderhawk that I noticed when we were at Warhammer Fest is, weirdly enough, the top view is the least impressive view of it. It's incredible looking at it from underneath. So if I was going to buy one, I'd put it on a 6-foot flying base. So everybody can look up and go, wow, check out that detail. But it is truly gorgeous. I
just love all that gold detail.
It's incredible. So there's a huge amount more detail. I think that's the thing that was noticeable from the model. And you can see it alongside a plastic. Well, not only size comparison, just look at the level of detail on the paneling and all the rest compared to, say, a standard plastic kit. So they've really layered it up, and it's just pretty incredible. I have to say, not the smoothest of paint jobs, but who am I to criticise? I'm a terrible painter. So what have we got here? We've gone for the solid canopy there, haven't they? It is just an incredible model, and a definite worthwhile upgrade of the kit. It's one of those things when when you kind of get to know there's a new Thunderhawk coming out, and of course there was all the sad rumours of it being plastic. It turned out it wasn't plastic. I don't mind if it looks like that. It's just incredible. I still want to build my own Thunderhawk for my 30k Thousand Suns though.
Yeah,
because I want to do wings like a scarab beetle. was the idea. Do some
okay,
crazy custom thing, but that's just an idea if ever I get more than 10 minutes spare. Right, what's the chat got to say about this? Looking forward to the model. Yes, you have to sell a kidney, £450. Hell's bells, you'd have to sell a kidney. How do I move in a cramped cockpit with those massive shoulder pads? You simply replace them with Space Wolf shoulder pads. When they bail, that's a good point.
I think with answering Captain Rourke's never understood why Space Marine pilots wear full armour. I think it's in case the cockpit gets a breach and they're still able to breathe and land the aircraft or get the aircraft back to the main ship, I would imagine.
That's just nonsense.
I would imagine.
You're right. There's no need for them to wear full armour, but, why not? But it's just like, excuse me. Oh, no, excuse me. And it's like, can you pass me the coffee? No, I can't move. Oh, you pass me the coffee? No. So they need an air hostess server bot.
No, it's straight in a
coffee.
tube from the chair. They'll be fine.
Fine, all right. Yeah. Anyway, so Thunderhawk lands. That was pretty exciting. What else have we got going? Well, there's a new edition coming. I'm sure some of you are aware by now. That's pretty exciting.
If not,
stuff.
where you been?
Faction focus. Let's have a quick look at the Inari.
I've not seen this yet.
So let's see what we've got that's exciting about this. Strength from death. Oh. That's not going to work, is it? This ability is common to all Inari infantry and Inari biker units with the Incarnate. Each time a unit is completely destroyed within 7 inches of one or more units with this ability, except in morale phase, pick one of those units to make a soul burst action. This unit can immediately do one of the following, even if it has also already done so in a turn. So it can move as if it's your movement phase, it can advance or fall back as part of this move. We've seen how powerful that is with Tyranids last night. It can, if it is a Psyker, immediately attempt to manifest a single psychic power. Wow. The unit can shoot as if you were in your shooting phase, and the unit can charge as if it was in the charge phase, even if it advanced or fell back this turn. Enemy units can fire Overwatch as normal. A unit cannot do this if it's within 1 inch of an enemy unit. The unit can fight as if it was in the fight phase. Note that this means that this unit may be able to shoot or fight twice in the same turn. The unit can only make a soul burst action once per turn. Well, there's a saving grace towards the end there. They only get twice as many turns as their opponent. That's just going to make them incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, that's quite a solid bonus.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of fun.
But we're finding most armies have got these sort of things hidden away in there somewhere.
And what we found out is what reads really powerfully doesn't always turn out really powerfully in the game. So far, we have, haven't we? I've looked at some units and gone, they're going to be incredible. Yeah. And then it's like, no, they didn't quite work.
Disappointing.
It's just, yeah, exactly. Because when you put them up against something that, again, traditionally they would have done quite well against, you go, actually, that kind of fizzled out.
It's definitely a case of trying to learn what units to use against other units now.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to take a while to learn that.
Right, is Sam going?
Yeah, he's going. By the looks of it.
Good night, Sam. Sleep before flying home. Have an amazing weekend, people. I'll speak to you next week
Rachel
on the live chat. Bill, Mike, Steve, speak to you soon. Great job. Oh, thank you, Sam. Bye, Sam and / Rachel. Bye. Enjoy your trip back. Your dog's safe and sound, by the way, and not missing you at all. In fact, your dog prefers me to you. She slept on my knee last night while we watched the general election results. Well, I watched them. She slept and snored and dribbled a little bit. Right, okay then. So where are we at? So let's just carry on looking through the Eldari sub-factions and we will then catch up. So only the homunculi covens are excluded from joining the Inari. Lastly, Inari characters can ride in Eldari transports, which is quite good as they have access to some excellent methods of transportation. So this is across all factions, isn't it? Which is incredible. The ability to pick such a wide variety of units is a real strength of this faction. You can make a lore-accurate army, for example, comprised of fire dragons, incubis, Harlequins. This immense flexibility gives you all the tools you need to build a well-rounded, deadly force.
Is there nothing you can't take in the Inari?
Yes, the homunculi cover.
That's the only thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because that would make them powerful.
That's just over the top.
So you're short on options then for the army.
Yeah.
That's really restricting.
You know what? I'm just looking at this image and I'm just thinking, how much red paint have I got? Okay. One of my favourite combos is to use the word of the Phoenix Psychic Power on a unit that has already moved to let its soul burst and move again and get it in position to either shoot or charge with the speed of the Eldari. Massive threat bubble. If you position a supporting unit well, the first unit destroys the target the support can then soul burst too. Cascading effects create utterly lethal combinations. Yeah. Well, that's going to look like fun.
Yeah. Bundles.
Yeah, I quite like them. I think the only thing is when I read something like that is just how soul destroying that could be as an opponent. You know, and you just sit there and go, right, my turn, and then they go, well, actually, there's 15 things that are going to happen in your turn before you get to go again. But it's what they're meant to be about. And again, I'm sure it plays well. It sounds pretty exciting. Right, let's do a quick catch up on the chat and let's see what people have got to say. Big Rich just got watched Best HQ for Dark Angels and Best Transport for them. So, Dark Angels?
Big Rich. Azrael's quite good because of his 4-up invulnerable save bubble.
Changed.
Say again?
Oh, has it got a bubble?
It's a bubble.
Right,
it's a bubble. So every model within this bubble, I can't remember what the distance is, gets a 4-up invul. So you stick him at the back behind a bunch of predators, and then all the predators have got a 4-up invul. So he is quite. Whereas in 7th he wasn't that great, especially as he was a Lord of War choice.
I'm just looking at Bazooka Rambo. Space Marines need to wear space armor because
space.
Yeah,
which is what I said about the cockpit getting a breach.
What's the weather like in space? The space weather. What happens when they drop the keys of the Thunderhawk? It's a point. Right, Sam's gone. Captain Rock saying good night to Sam. Weaken a lot of units and then clean them up in one turn when they are too weak to do much. Yes, that's the point. That's I suppose that cascading impact you could have. Could be horrible. Saying that, of course, like most Eldar, they can fold quite quickly if you deal out enough damage. The toughness isn't there, and we've seen that quite effective with some of the stuff when you start hitting them with some of the tougher weapons.
What's their leadership like?
I should imagine quite good. Check that out while I catch up on the rest of the chat. Right, bye Sam, ta-ta Sam, good night Sam and Rach, have a safe flight home. Yes, I'm sure they will do, but we will keep you posted when they land. And New Community just got Dark Vengeance set and going to get 2 more 10-man units to get transport for them. New to the community, Big Rich. Yeah, the Dark Vengeance set is awesome, and somewhere underneath here as well, I've got whatever the follow-up to there's a Dark Vengeance expansion set as well, and they're great models. They're really great models.
Something's just come to mind when you said expansions. It was one of the Voxcasts, I think. I don't know if it was yesterday or today. I think it might have been I don't know if it was the painters that were talking about it. And they said with the Dark Imperium box, they definitely said the words expansions.
Oh,
I'm 100% on.
So
if anyone else has checked it, then put it in the chat.
Okay, that's really interesting, isn't it? Because like we had with the Dark Vengeance, there was an expansion both for the Dark Angels and for who the hell did he get with it? The Chaos. It was Khorne, wasn't it? That was up against the because you had the Hell Brute,
the Slaughter one. Oh, what's it called?
Yeah.
Crimson Slaughter.
That's it, Crimson Slaughter.
So, yes. Maybe that's what we'll see first? No, we're going to see some of those models first, aren't we? We're going to see transports and things like that.
And Rich, I'd get rhinos because they're very durable and they're not that expensive either. So I'd definitely get rhinos for your troops.
And some good rules for rhinos as well. You know, the fact that they can heal wounds and stuff in the new system. Durable and fun.
And in answer the question, they're leadership 7.
Leadership 7, Eldar. So certainly killables. Killable. But no doubt they've probably got a bunch of stuff.
I don't think the Razorback has got a big enough capacity. I think it's still limited. I can't Don't take my word for that because I can't remember reading it.
And in fairness, we haven't got the Marine book with
but
us.
I would imagine because of the gun emplacement that the Razorback has, it may have a smaller capacity. But I'd go Rhino. And then get yourself a Devastator squad.
Obviously, Mike's getting on with the hobby, as you can see. Things are progressing nicely. Have you moved you've moved the glue pop? That's good.
I turned the page.
There you go. Look at that. It's kind of weird. I'm in the bubble. Oh, where am I? I'm in the bubble, but I can also make things happen over here. So that's just proving we are in the same room.
Yeah.
The Mike's not like a million miles away. Okay, what chapters are you painting your Primaris Marines in? Let's do a couple more questions on the chat, and then I think we will need to call it a night, because myself and Mike have got an early start tomorrow to give you hungry YouTube-y, audience-y people plenty of 8th edition Batreps. So we'll start to round up, but let's cover a couple of last questions then. So what colour are we painting our Primaris Marines? Well, Sam has banhammered any of us from doing Primaris until he's done his Primaris.
Yeah.
But let's just think about this. We think Sam's gone.
Yeah.
Sam, are you there?
I believe he has gone.
Okay, he's gone, and he's never going to watch the last 5 minutes of this
No,
chat,
he's not, is he?
So let's just tell him about what we've been thinking, Mike. Mike, you might be doing Primaris.
I'll let you speak.
Well, I'm going to do some for my Blood Angels.
Blood Angels.
So I've got obviously a very large Blood Angel army. Right. I want some Primaris.
I'm going to be doing an Ultramarine army.
That's cool.
Okay.
And I'm doing
Gulliman as well.
You can have my Gulliman at the Triumvirate.
Yes, I'm having a
Gulliman. Yeah, that's nice.
Take that with you tonight if you want. No, I'll airbrush the base for you if you want. Do you want to?
I might need to do that with the entire army.
Yeah, okay, let's do that a bit.
And
I am going. I don't know why we're whispering. In case it wakes Sam up.
Is he here?
He's in Spain and he's listening in. We've got the CIA watching.
It makes it feel a lot more dramatic and secretive.
Going back to
if we
Sam, I don't. On the Wednesday chat, he had decided on a chapter to do. He was going to do his own, but then someone had put up on the community page that idea had already been taken by someone.
Oh, is this the Blood Eagle idea?
Yes. So Sam is back to deciding what chapter he's going to do again. Yeah.
I might do.
He'll go have a swim in the sea and kick a fish and get some inspiration.
I'm going to do the Scorpions, the Red Scorpions.
Oh, Red Scorpions,
nice. Yeah. Nice. Partly because I know that Sam thought of that. and then dismiss the idea. So when I just like, oh, Sam, would you like a game? And then just pull out an entire Red Scorpion army painted overnight. So, Red Scorpions, Ultramarines, Blood Angels. Let's see what we've got in the chat. If anybody's joining in with the let's do them. Here we go. Going Ultra myself from Paul Edwards. Good call. Working on a squad of Liberators. Want to do the classic scheme. Very nice. Mine are based in Screaming Bell with orange trim. Cool. Bronze trim, sorry, not bronze trim. Dark Angels for life. I did start a Dark Angels unit, but I did them in a slightly different colour scheme. But I may return to those. But if I do those, I don't think I'll do Primaris. I'm going to do them as a kind of a chapter that's been, set adrift, if you like, from, or a part of the chapter set adrift from the Imperium, so not met back up with the Primaris yet or something, because I still love a lot of the old models, and the stuff in the Dark Vengeance box, that's great, the vehicles are cool, so I'm quite happy to kind of do them without introducing Primaris.
See, I'm thinking of possibly mixing, but it would be a lot more of the standard Marines and stuff.
Yeah.
And then maybe the odd
do it as an elite unit sort of thing. Crimson Fist from Roa, and it could be Roa or Roa. Apologies if I'm getting that wrong. Fish Primus, yes, why not? You know what, that would be quite fun. Be like Aquaman.
Paint them like Nemo's. Like clownfish.
Orange and white.
Yeah, the orange and white stripe. Yeah. We'll suggest it to Sam.
See what he says.
Without him realising.
He has been trying to find
for
a while he's been trying to figure out how to do an orange
army. If I
army.
artwork a really cool orange and white stripe army without him realising I'm making it look like the fish.
Yeah.
He spends weeks painting it. And here's my orange and white stripey.
I kind of feel like we're involved in a conspiracy here.
I know. He'll never watch this back though. He never watches any of my videos. They all go catastrophically wrong. Crimson Fist, excessive magnetization. I've been debating a Primus Ultramarines Army 2. I want to do Raven Guard. I think the thing is about doing Ultramarines is the Guilliman model. That's what's it just looks amazing. So that is the temptation.
Although I must admit, I'm not a massive fan of the plastic one.
Don't you like it?
I prefer
Have you
the
seen
forged
it?
one.
Have you seen it up close?
Yeah,
Really? Okay.
I don't know why. I quite prefer the Forge World Guilliman.
I think for a lot of people,
plastic.
it's the slight shift in aesthetic, isn't
well,
it?
ever since I saw the comparison between Guilliman and Joffrey, I can't get that out of my head.
Come on.
So put him with the helmet on there.
Yeah.
I just can't get it out of my head.
Yeah, but you know, Steve, he takes the armour very seriously. He knows the heads underneath.
Yeah.
The armour. It's like, no, they definitely wear their helmets.
I'll end up painting him like a Lannister, but I was supposed to be a Blood Angel then if I paint him like a Lannister.
The best Space Marine chapter is indeed Tyranids. I agree with you. Blood Angels revisiting old army, rebasing to larger, give them more detailed love. Good idea. Stick them on a bit of cork as well and give them some height. I genuinely think you could do that. You know, you just lift the base up a bit. That trick, take them to 32 mil, give them a bit of height. Yeah. You know, it's instant upgrade. Can't wait to see the different armies of them. Please share when done. Yes, please do, Paul Edwards and everybody else. Please pop them on the community site as soon as you start working through these things. Creating my own Primaris chapter, who have been sent to Forge World. Run intervention missions on Rogue Chaos raids. Nice idea. Paint scheme is dark blue with white shoulders and gold trim. Good call, Johnny. Right, okay.
Just a quick one. Fell Hate, nice of you to join us, buddy. I'm sorry, but we've been going for an hour and 20 minutes, bud, when you got in. So maybe next time.
How long ago did it start? Some time ago, and we're about to round up. But thank you very much for joining us, Fell Hate. Feel free to
apparently
rewind.
We're close to 4K subs.
Are we?
I think we.
Really?
Oh no, we're 100 away. We were
100
before
away.
the chat.
That's fairly close.
We were on 3,900 before the chat.
Okay, excellent. Well, thank you very much to everybody who's subscribed, liked, and loved the stuff we do, because it keeps us motivated and happy, and my beard healthy and shiny. Right, okay then. I think we probably should call it a night. We've still got a lot to do. We've got some prep to do for the game tomorrow. Mike's got to finish these models, and he obviously can't talk and model at the same time.
I can't do multiple things at once.
I can't believe you're going to leave me with some half-built models. And by the way, I'd have left the tracks off because I'm airbrushing.
They almost look like
that wasn't
that
wasn't the instructions you gave me.
Thank you very much, Frost and Fist. It's always a pleasure for you to join us, and I love watching your stuff as well. I should try and comment more. I have to catch most of it. A lot of the stuff I catch, and this is going to sound bad, is I listen to it in the car because I travel quite a bit in my car, and I genuinely listen to it as well. I put the screen face down so I don't get distracted. You've got to keep it safe out there, guys. Yes, I do listen to a lot of people's videos, which of course the side effect of that is I can't always comment and say great show, but Frost, I'm always a big fan of your stuff. I was actually doing some painting. This show. Thank you guys. Thank you. Oh, cool. That's no problem. That's cool. Right. Okay then. It would be remiss of me, and Sam would no doubt punish me on his return if I didn't say good night to all. But just a quick reminder. Please pop along to the website if you haven't already. Check it out. There's freemium accounts, which is just basically free, give you access to some extra content. Premium accounts is what's keeping us all going as well and making the channel grow. So please, if you want to keep supporting us, pop along and set yourself an account up, even if it's just for 1 month, just to check out some of the content, because Sam's worked incredibly hard on some of those painting tutorials, so it will make him smile if you give him a comment. There's a quick question. Susanna West, who's our favourite hero? Right, okay, we will answer that last question.
40K,
just at the end of this.
Well, I can
any
do
hero
both.
whatsoever.
So, Age of Sigmar, it's going to be Manfred von Karstein, and 40k, Mephiston.
Mike?
40k, Prince Uriel.
Ooh.
Sigmar. I'm just going to go quick head taker.
Oh,
for
nice.
Skaven.
Nice.
Skaven.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Age of Sigmar. Alariel. 40k. Oh, it's a tough call. The Swarm Lord.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Good night to all. Good night, Surreal. Good night, everybody else.
Good night, guys. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you all for joining us, and we will see you again soon. And Sam's back next week, so we can return to a sense of normality. Just to say, considering that from what I've seen, this stream has been okay. So I seem to have gotten away with streaming from my location, albeit in a broadcast-only way. We are going to go ahead with me also adding an additional chat in the week. It's most likely going to be Monday night. I think the working title at the moment is Phil's Monday Musings. It's not going to have a lot of structure because that's not what I'm good at. But it is going to be just rambling on a Monday night. So for those people who can't catch Sam's shows on the Wednesday and Friday live, then we're going to add the Monday night show in. So pop along, say hi to me. I'm hoping to do it this Monday, although as I've mentioned, I do have to travel. Oh, that was the one last point as well. It may be not every single Monday night because I do have to travel with my job at time. So finally sign off for the third time in a row. Good night all. Good
night, guys.
Everyone.
Take care.
I've got end credits somewhere. Sam told me to press the fifth button down. One, two, 3, 4, 5. Fifth button. There we go.
That's the wrong one.
Oh no, wait. 1, 2, 3.
Technology.
End credits.